Always make this effort to be super eco-conscious wherever you go.
Actually, after graduation, I did spend many years in theatre and concert production, which is far different from my dream of working with wildlife or with nature. That was also the time that I reconnected with my first love, nature.
Know that our inner change can really transform the world around us. We have the power to actually affect change in society. Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of The Way of Youth. The Way of Youth is a podcast series that celebrates the journeys of our youth division members in Singapore, and it is also one of the highlights to celebrate Soka Gakkai International's 50th anniversary this year. Once again, I'm your host Ming Xue, and today I'm welcoming a guest who I've known since my schooling days, back when we were worried about exams, friendships, idols, and more than anything else. Please welcome my friend today.
Hi everyone! Wow, Ming Xue, meeting you here, right? Really feels so unbelievable. I can't believe we're actually doing this. It feels like we are back in the future division again.
Well, technically we are still, in the future division, just that we are now no FDICs lah. But this time I think we've grown like more wrinkles, wiser. But I believe it's a better version of ourselves.
Yeah, and those were really fun and crazy days. Not sure if you remember, but I spent a lot of my time chasing idols and bands and ended up having to repeat 1 year in my school.
I remember your favorite band was...
Of course, there's also that signature hearty laughter of yours that I admire so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it wasn't just you two. We had wonderful friends and seniors in faith who really never judged or doubt our potential. They believe in us, even when I didn't believe in myself. Through them, I witnessed Ikeda Sensei's spirit in practice and made a determination to prove that the youth of Soka Gakkai will never be defeated.
Wow, I didn't know all that, Thank you so much for really sharing that with me. How Ikeda Sensei, encourages us through the human revolution, that every struggle is really an opportunity, to reveal our inner treasure tower, the inherent dignity within each life. But I think I find it more amazing that, you actually turn this spirit into action.
Actually, after graduation, I did spend many years in theatre and concert production, which is far different from my dream of working with wildlife or with nature. But I also remember what second Soka Gakkai President Jose Toda said, to first become indispensable wherever you are. Even if our life right now may seem different from what we would like to be doing, we can always chant to elevate our life state and create value wherever we are. When we awaken that Buddha nature within us, we will be able to eventually grow and contribute to society in ways unimaginable right now, even making the impossible possible. Though I was not able to study what I initially desired, but I also realized that that was the time I needed to polish myself, to exert myself in my human revolution, and be really ready for my mission. So I started small, focused on creating a more eco-conscious work environment where I was at.
Yeah, I agree. I think life, is not always like the most smooth sailing where, everything always falls so nicely into place. But if anything I really know about you, right, Jing, is like you always make this effort to be super eco-conscious wherever you go.
Yeah, I try. So whenever we design performances, I will advocate for zero waste practices through the production process, from reducing the use of disposables to repurposing and upcycling our costumes and our sets.
Yeah, and I think this is the part that I find it that is super amazing because you have always been very consistent, you always have this never giving up commitment to protect our nature.
So to me, right, this isn't us protecting nature, but remembering that we are nature protecting itself. So for example, I ask myself, how fresh or polluted is the air that we breathe in? How much safe drinking water do we have left on this planet that's wasted every day? When we realize that there's no pathway other than to cherish what is around us, right, we will naturally move from living a lifestyle of extraction and exploitation of resources and people to building a community of care and collaboration.
Yeah, that's really beautiful to hear. This really reminds me of this Buddhist concept I believe you may have heard before, the oneness of life and the environment, that our inner change can really transform the world around us. And it's super funny because I think this was the first Buddhist fundamental that we actually presented together in FD, right? And you're actually actualizing it right now, yeah.
Exactly. What we learn in Nichiren Buddhism that gives me hope is that we can create value anywhere we are. So later I did move to producing short-form documentaries, telling stories of social justice. And I also had the opportunity to design workshops and camps based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs in short, to encourage participants to dialogue and reflect on what can I do with the SDGs in my own life.
when you mentioned, about SDGs, right, I always thought as something that maybe only governments or corporations can handle. So often, right, I cannot imagine like we have the power to actually affect change in society. After all, we're just one person.
Yeah, I know, right? But guess what? Change really starts from the intentional actions that we take in our daily lives. Speaking of which, Mingxue, I'm curious, how does your family manage trash disposal at home?
I think you caught me there a little bit here. So I think to my mother also watching, I think to be honest, my family, we are the kind that we just put all the trash together in one plastic bag and then we just throw them down the chute because it's convenient. But I do notice that my family really dislike those disposable plastic bowls, especially the containers, the transparent kind that you use to tapao soups. So nowadays, I do notice that they are actually taking out their own containers, like the metal kinds, and just go down to tapao food. And personally for myself, I think, oh yes, here. I constantly carry also this reusable shopping bag. It's like a baguette, very cute, right? Now, I mean, after all, our supermarkets charge us for plastic bags. I personally think that it helps to reduce the plastic bags that we see outside as well, and it's great to tapao the daily essentials.
Yeah, that's a great start. And seeing this bag, can make you very happy as well. Yeah, indeed, many of us think that we cannot do a lot. However, when we don't limit life's possibilities, right, even a packaging bag, even like this one or this one, but even something like this, right, has got great value and it can be cleaned and dried for future storage and even to collect trash. So actually, we don't have to all become eco-warriors, but small steps like this can create a ripple effect. While we may never be able to immediately change what governments or corporations do, there is power in our everyday choices, and we can influence those around us to make better choices themselves too.
So I think even though you have to like wash and dry all these paper bags and plastic bags, to reuse it does sound a bit inconvenient, but I also can see at least this is preventing more trash from going into our landfills. But I also do heard that you have started nature guiding. Please share more about that.
Yeah. So remember COVID? Yeah. So that's when no one could travel. And that was also the time that I reconnected with my first love, nature. Yeah. So Mingxue, do you know that we can find beautiful sea stars and colorful sea cucumbers on Singapore's shores?
Honestly, I didn't know that because usually when you go to the beach, right, it looks very murky, smells like oil, like a lot of trash, that kind of vibes.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, because air travel was not possible back then, many families did visit the beach during low tide, looking for treasures among all these murky waters. But actually, each time a marine animal is removed from the ocean floor, they undergo so much stress. And some people take these animals home as ornaments, as pets, or even food. And unfortunately, their population has since been affected.
So what do you actually do then?
So I really wanted to protect our marine life and became a nature guide to help people appreciate the biodiversity that we have in Singapore. And on these nature walks, we invited our guests to pause and really listen to the bird songs, notice the ebb and flow of the currents or the rustling of the leaves. And at the end of the day, people will only protect what we love, and we can only love what we know.
Indeed, this is so aligned with SGI philosophy to respect the dignity of life in all forms.
Yes, and by respecting and cherishing all life, we also start to respect and cherish ourselves. And this drove me to become a forest school practitioner, where nature is the classroom and the forest our teacher. Children have such a natural connection with nature, only distant when adults project our concern of what's dirty and what's unsafe to them. When we can hold space for individuals to play freely, learn from the trees, the rain, and even the mud, we can really witness life growing and unfolding in its purest form. And watching these children grow reminds me of a quote from first Sugagakai President Tsune Saburo Makuguchi. I quote, "The aim of education is not to transfer knowledge. It is to guide the learning process, to equip the learner with the methods of research. Rather than encouraging students to appropriate the intellectual treasures uncovered by others, we should enable them to undertake on their own the process of discovery and invention."
Indeed, I think most people, they live to build a career. But for you to think, you seem to live in a way that is not defined by, titles and positions, but by the value that you create. So has no one ever actually asked you, like, why don't you just stick to one job?
But I'm also neurodivergent, so my mind has never thought of this as one job or like this work. Yeah, but as connections to my life's mission, to live so passionately in a way that is kind to the planet and all of its inhabitants. People may question my choices, but through this Buddhist practice, I also learned to stand in my own power and not be easily swayed by others' opinions. I'm not perfect, really I'm not. And one thing I do remind myself is that when I prioritize my heart in creating value at every moment, instead of begrudging, I can choose to embrace every situation.
Nice. Now I'm curious. Remember childhood dream of becoming a vet? What about it now?
Wow, you remember. So I used to do animal rescue, and that led me to adopting my dog. And because I want to better care for him at old age, I started working with an animal hospice. This is not an easy place to be in when we are constantly surrounded by grief, but through working with suffering and death, I also saw how we are actually fulfilling an unmet need for our patients and their human family members by offering a source of comfort and hope in their final days.
Definitely. I think I see, all the things that you have done, be it from theatre, to forest, even down to the animal hospice. I think it all ties back to really this same vow, right? To protect the ultimate treasure, which is, the dignity of life, right?
Yeah, you're right. So every experience, no matter how different, connects through that sense of mission. Like Ikeda Sensei, who is a poet, a photographer, an educator, and so much more, all at the same time. Yet every single effort is dedicated to peace and happiness for all living beings. And I'm very inspired to live that kind of expensive life too. And actually, on that note, Mingxue, I do have a question for you and our podcast listeners too, which is also a question that I often ask myself. What is a world that you would like to live in, and how do you think you can create that world in your current place of mission?
Wow, today you really making me put on my thinking cap. Personally, I think for me, an ideal world I feel is that people will learn to practice gratitude, despite the circumstances. I think it can sound very, very naive because it's very easy to say I will point fingers, I'll blame you, I'll blame others, I'll blame my circumstances, But I just really want that everyone could actually take a bigger step back. Let's see things from the bigger picture and really understand the rationale, why certain decisions or actions are made. And together, we can now create this really open dialogue environment. So I think personally for me, I think I'm also learning to really embody this spirit of treasuring the person right in front of me. So, I really do sincerely believe that everything can start from me to create the environment that I want to be in.
Yeah, isn't that precious?
Yes.
So Buddhism teaches that every individual has the power to shape our environment through our intentions, our words, and our actions. When we transform ourselves, we are also transforming the world around us.
Yeah, wow, really like what you just said about the transformation, ourselves to transforming the world around us. And I think it really ties us back to, the concept of human revolution again, is that the change has to start, really from within us.
Yeah, and actually, if I think that I have a superpower, right, that superpower may be that I have a belief that every single person has infinite potential, and that power is something that all of us can manifest. Sometimes all it takes is someone who believes in us, just like how you believe in me back in our school days, and how we strive alongside each other through prayer and action. When we can then believe in ourselves, we continue to show up each day with courage for our community, the path to our unique mission will definitely open up.
Yeah, wow, thank you so much, Jing. I'm so honestly really touched and happy to see, how far you have become. I really think that you're really like a lighthouse, you really shine a lot of hope for others, to really find that inner own treasure tower. Yeah.
Thank you, Mingxue. Same for you. I'm so grateful to encounter this Buddhism, and it's my greatest good fortune to grow up in the garden of the Suka family. I met with a wonderful mentor, Ikeda Sensei, who guided us to walk the path of humanistic philosophy, and not forgetting to be acquainted with friends like you who gave me a pull when I fell down, and seniors who trusted us even when we don't trust ourselves.
Yeah, I think I really agree with you. And Kaka is really this place where we are constantly encouraged to bring out the best in us. And I really do think that it is our greatest good fortune to have been nurtured with such warmth and care since young. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope that more youths can experience such a wonderful way of life as well, instilled with the correct values that encourages us to look beyond our little self. We are so much more than we think.
You know what? I really think we got to catch up more right, after the filming of this podcast. But before we end today's episode, I think this is a question we have asked all the guest speakers, including yourself now. So, this year, as I've mentioned earlier, is the 50th anniversary of the SGI. So for SGI 50, please tell everybody what is your determination.
So I see myself as a citizen of the world, and towards SGI 50 or even SGI 100, even if I may not know what I will be doing then, it is my conviction to continue polishing and bring forth my best self to become a bridge for peace, for a life-sustaining world. I believe in the power of dialogue, and I am determined to hold hope-filled dialogues so that others can feel supported to discover their unique potential as well.
That's so awesome to hear. And now, to our audience, once again, thank you very much, for tuning into this episode. Learning from all our speakers. Let's now strive with our fullest potential and continue making a difference just as we are, wherever we are. We wish you well and see you around. Bye-bye.